Hey everyone, so we're back today. I have the metal. I picked up the metal this morning to finish this supercharger map. I've actually got the Mustang in the garage. Yep, there she is. What a beauty. I got a welding blanket on her and some lights and some heaters because it's flipping cold outside. Yeah, so we're gonna weld this up. The hardest part, I think, is gonna be trying to get these somewhat parallel with the engine. Probably just tack this side and then go up and down on that side and just see what we end up with. Alright, so we got them tacked in, and I think I actually want to try and stretch this one as far over as possible. Try and get like a little bit of a triangular brace affair here. This one's not quite as flat as I wanted it to be. I was more worried about getting the corner, so I'll tap that with a hammer, but I might break that tack loose trying to do that. One right here at that point is contacting actually down here, which is this little A-frame cross member here. My level might be determined by the lowest level that I can get that right side, and then I have to level the left side off that. So it's actually far enough off that I'm going to go ahead, I just started the compressor, and I'm going to go ahead and plasma cut a little arc in there. Just knock that off like that, and that should be enough to drop it where we want it. Alright, so we got a little bit of a gap in there. Hopefully that's enough that when the engine moves with this thing, I can not have a problem. And I think I'm going to be able to get it within about maybe 5 degrees according to this thing, and who knows how close that thing is. So that's good enough for me. I mean, I think the biggest part of that will be getting the supercharger straight once it's on there, and I have no clue how we're going to do that. That's going to require probably us getting the right length belt and kind of spinning it by hand and seeing where it binds and where it doesn't. Got it all tacked together. Seems pretty freaking sturdy. Next step's finding some pulleys and figuring out that. I've been going through a couple scenarios. I actually went out and bought a pulley. It's plastic, but you know, I needed something to look at. I actually have a plan now. So I was looking through our box and I picked this guy up, and it's kind of just weird. And the outside, I actually just turned the outside down on the lathe. So if you see down in there, the pulley's metal. And if you drilled that out to the right size, and the reason I laid it down is because it actually didn't quite fit in there, but now it does. Pull this guy off, drill that out to the right size, suck that in there. My thought process is, if I go get a metal pulley, hopefully I can pull the bearing out without damaging the pulley. The plan is to basically just end up mating them like that. Find a way to maybe cut out the inside of the pulley to the right diameter so it sits in there straight, and then probably just tack it up really quick. So yeah, I think that's the next step, is just take this guy back and see what I find. Well, there it is. I laid out the inside there. This I cleaned up a little bit, so it's a little more cylindrical, and it barely fits in there. So I need to be able to fit this into there to be able to tighten that nut, because I think it fits in. Excuse me. shoddy camera work here. Yeah. There we go. I guess that barely fits in there, so that probably needs cleaned up too. So I need to widen those out, give myself accessibility to it. The next step is going to be fusing those two together. So when this is assembled, it'll look like that. That will go up against right in there. Go down the same pulley, and now that gets down in there so that I can get to that nut. I still have to, to figure out what is in there, if that's keyway or what, but it might just be friction. If it's friction, that's easy. If it's not, we'll find out how to do it. And I need to take that together. I need an impact to get that off. I need to put that back on before I leave. The next step for that is I have some aluminum back there. I'm gonna build a little box. That's probably still gonna be upside down. I think that's how I'm gonna mount it, but there's only one upside down mount, so I might have to find a way to use some of those. We'll see though. This is what I've made so far. It's not one of these. It's the plate for this guy. Basically, I just traced it out. You can see some of my ugly trace marks there. Put it on a stand, and just kind of freehanded it. And then I went back through and cleaned up a bunch of stuff with the belt sander and tried to deburr it. Did not do a very good job, but good enough. Good enough for who it's for, right? So this guy goes more or less like that. Hey, so we just got the plate done. Get some close-ups on that. It's not bad. The holes don't quite line up, right? I mean, they're close enough. This isn't rocket science. We're not trying to get this exact anyways. Henry's gone for a couple hours. I'm going to try and mock up a box for this. We don't really know how we're going to do that yet, so we're just going to wing it. So in one of the other videos, I think I posted it, I actually made a different base for the box, but it was made out of, I think it was 3/16 aluminum. This is quarter. 3/16 was just, actually I think it's 1/8 inch. It's thin. It's too flimsy. And so we bumped it up to this. This is sturdy. It's going to work. When we smear a bunch of sealant on here and bolt it down, it's not going to flex. So now I'm going to figure out where I need to cut the center hole. That's always a pain in the ass. So that's next, and then we're going to figure out how we're going to make the box that goes under that. The box is going to have to be pretty sturdy because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to mount to our little steel contraption on top of the engine over there. The original plan was to have the supercharger upside down. I think it's better because the supercharger, you can run it upside down. From everything I've read, there's no problems with the lubricating system, but there's not a lot to mount it upside down, and it's just adding extra steps to mounting it. So it's just going to stick up high. Oh well. I mean, at this point, I know this intercooler is only temporary, but this intercooler is going to be way up high on top of the engine bay too. So who cares? It's a $400 car. I don't expect this thing to last anyways. So we're just going to put it together and see how it works. So this is the old Chevette intercooler we ran in Lemons, and it's got a blow-off valve built in right over there, which that one doesn't have, and we don't have one to put in here anywhere. So that's just gonna be convenient. Henry had this laying around. This is a radiator setup. Pretty much reaches exactly where we need to go, and then we can just either stretch it over that or try and stretch it over one of these. So I'm gonna try and fab up that box. For that, it's got to be strong, and I think it's gonna be about, oh, what is this? It's like 2.5 or something, 2.5 inch tall, so that this can be welded to the side. We'll drill a hole and weld that in. About ready to build the box, and I'm pretty sure we've decided it's gonna go the other way around. So it's just propped up right now, so it's gonna fall. Basically, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's really just gonna be a box. So the plan is just cut a piece of this, cut a hole in that, weld that up there. This will be a nice little sealed box, and yeah, hopefully it puts pressure in the right place. All right, so that's what I got for a box. When you're sitting inside the car, there's a huge noticeable lack of visibility on that side. But for now, yeah, we're just gonna run this, and I mean, if we got boost, if we say we're able to hold like 5 or 10 psi through the entire rev range, huge win. Every time I look at this, it gets more and more ridiculous. I love it, but I don't think it's gonna work. But I don't care, so we're gonna find out.